Oral piercings, easiest to heal to the hardest to heal. Coming up next on Body Piercing Basics, episode number 78. So stick around. For those that are new to the channel, my name is DaVo. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I own and operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio located here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So, when I talk to you about these things, I'm talking to you with a level of expertise as someone who's been in the body piercing industry for well over 26 years. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the kind of continuing a series I've been doing on Body Piercing Basics, starting with the hardest to heal of a specific area to the easiest to heal. Today, we're going to focus on oral piercings. Oral piercings are anything that's inside the mouth or enters the mouth. There are a number of piercings on this list that I will not do for various different reasons, ethically and otherwise. But I figured since everybody's going to ask about them anyway, I might as well include them. So let's start off. Cheeks piercings and dahlia piercings. Cheek piercings, of course, are located out to the area, sometimes called dimple piercings. Dahlia piercings are more on the inside of that muscle group. If you grab your cheeks like your grandma used to and go, oh, and feel around there, one is on one side, the other one's on the other side. With cheek piercings, you're going to see prolonged swelling. You're going to see possible teeth damage. You're going to see catching them all the time. The other thing is with both of these piercings is it's next to impossible to know where the saliva ducts are inside your mouth. Meaning, we're going to more than likely hit one, and it's going to leak out saliva not only through the inside, but also out the outside. So basically you have drool coming down your cheeks on a regular basis. Sometimes this even continues after the piercing's been abandoned. With dahlia piercings, you have to have the perfect anatomy to get them done. They are prone to rejecting where the body pushes them out, and it usually pushes them into the mouth. So unless you want some nasty scars on the side of your mouth, don't get this piercing. That moves us on to the next one. Number 2, venom piercings or off-center tongue piercings. These piercings are done through the muscle tissue of the tongue, meaning that you're going to see a great deal of swelling. You're going to see an increased healing time in most cases, and often increased risk to damage to teeth and gums. The further you go out from that center area where there's the most room in your mouth, outward or forward, you're increasing the likelihood of enamel erosion, gum erosion, and softening of bones on the top and bottom of your mouth. This also means that learning to eat with those in there is going to be a lot more difficult, if not doubly difficult. Doesn't sound right. Doubly difficult. I don't know. I'm going with it. As a midline tongue piercing would be, or a traditional tongue piercing. Inverted vertical labret, or also known as a Jestrum. This is a piercing that's at the top of your mouth. It's done downward, like a vertical labret is done upward at the bottom. The problem with this piercing is most people do not have the correct anatomy for it. Your anatomy doesn't swing outward at the top to give that angle correct. So it tends to put a lot of pressure on your front teeth, can make eating and a lot of other activities fairly difficult. This is something that is very anatomy specific, and unless you have the perfect anatomy for it, don't get this done. You're going to end up with a piercing that on the bottom is too far inside your mouth, in direct contact where your teeth come together. Now that starts us with the frustrating part of body piercing, in my opinion, when oral piercings anyway. The million bites that everybody comes up with a new name for about every 6 months. So we're going to start off with what I think is the most difficult to heal, and that is the canine bites. Canine bites are on both sides of your mouth, in alignment, on the bottom and the top. There's It's not really any more difficult than healing a normal beauty mark or a normal lip piercing or labret piercing. The problem is you're doing four of them at one time. Often people will do maybe a set on the top and a set on the bottom to kind of stretch that out. But if you did all these at the same time, it's going to be a big pain to heal. Not only is there a reduction in the amount of resources that your body's going to have to produce tissue, fight off infection, and all those things that your piercing or your body does during the healing of a piercing, but you're going to be dealing with all this swelling and everything on both sides of your mouth. It's going to be extremely difficult to eat and talk, at least for that first couple weeks. And you're going to see swelling in 4 areas at the same time. The next one is cyber bites, and that's a Medusa or philtrum and a labret or lip piercing. Because it's in the center of your mouth, these tend to interrupt eating, drinking, and etc. quite a bit. We don't tend to drink out of the side of our mouth. It tends to get a lot in the way. It can be a difficult heal for that reason. And once again, this is something that I would suggest maybe breaking up into a couple different piercings. Medusa or philtrum. Basically, this piercing, some people say they're really easy to heal. I've had other people that have had nothing but problems with it from beginning to end, mainly because of its location, in interrupting eating and in talking and etc. It really depends on how much you move your upper lip, I guess. But the placement tends to be in a spot that can be a little bit dangerous as far as enamel erosion and gum erosion. Now, let's do one I don't do, or I don't like doing, or I refuse to do, and those are Smileys and Frowneys. They tend to heal fairly easy. They don't interrupt eating and so much as much, but they have a high risk of doing damage to your teeth and gums and of rejection. That's why I've put them so high on the list. Next, tongue webbing. Another one that's not really that difficult to heal per se, but it's one of those piercings that tends to have issues after it heals. Often many years later, it will suddenly flare up and it's next to impossible to get the jewelry out. Also, these are extremely prone to rejection, depending on how pronounced that tendon is on the underside of your tongue. There is also the possibility of it doing damage to the bone structure on your jawbone in the lower part of your mouth. That brings us on to number 10, angel bites. Angel bites are on both sides of your mouth on the top, basically 2 beauty marks. Once again, the reason why this is high on the list is because it's in 2 separate places that is going to increase impairing your ability to eat and etc. Also seeing swelling in 2 places. I guess if you haven't gotten the clue already, it's more complicated to heal out groupings of piercings than it is to heal out one piercing. Next one would be beauty marks. Beauty marks, or often called Monroes or Crawfords or Still Crawfords, or about a host of other things, and people try to assign one side to the other side. I just gave up and called them beauty marks a long time ago. These basically can be kind of a pain in the ass to heal sometimes, just basically because they're located on your upper lip. Once again, it depends on how much you move that lip while you talk and eat and etc. Other than that, they can be fairly easy to heal. The aftermath of them is if they're not positioned high enough into the gum structure, they can do a lot of damage at that gum line. They really need to be placed correctly. Number 12, shark bites. Basically, this is another piercing where you're just doing a lot of piercings and putting a lot of strain on your immune system and your body's ability to heal. Also, you're going to see increased swelling and etc. For those who don't know, it's 2 on both sides, like this. Either lip or labret, meaning either done with a ring or a labret stud and done at the angle appropriate for that. That moves us on to number 13, lucky 13. And probably one of the most common or longest done of all the groupings of lip piercings. And that is snake bites. Done both sides, either done with rings or labret studs. They tend to, it's just basically you're doing 2 piercing at the same time. It's going to interrupt eating, it's going to interrupt talking, it's going to interrupt everything that you do with your mouth. 14, This one is dolphin bites. Dolphin bites are done in the center in a dual capacity, usually two of them a little bit off center, either done with Labret studs or done with rings. Because there are two in the same spot, you're going to see an increased swelling, etc., and a little bit more hassle than you would see with a normal Labret or lip piercing, or even a vertical Labret, which is next. Number 14, vertical Labret. Vertical Labret is done vertically through the bottom lip. This does rely on your lip turning outward, which most people do. It tends to be a fairly easy heal because it's kind of away from everything. There's a little bit of complications as far as sometimes drinking, sometimes eating, but it's not as intrusive as other piercings are that are more inside your mouth. And that brings us on to number 17, Labret piercings. Time to do a little bit of explaining a little bit of history of piercings. Piercings, when I first started doing piercings or investigating, there were two types of piercings. When it comes to your lower lip, there were lip piercings, which were done, let's say this is your lip, they were done like this, so that the top was just inside the mouth and it was done at a downward angle to match the curvature or outward curvature of your lip. We called those lip piercings. They were usually done with rings, and more recently, sometimes they're done with curved barbells. Just like a vertical Labret, they are more outside the mouth. They have less contact with teeth and gums, and they interrupt eating, talking, and etc. a great deal less, I should say, than other piercings. Then there were Labret piercings. Traditionally, they were done as deep in as we could comfortably do them, right in the center. And that kind of became the Labret name. Basically, Labrets are, in my opinion, any piercing that is done below that curved out lip and done straight in. The reason why this is important is often people will go and get a lip piercing, and they will tell their piercer they want a lip piercing. They might even mention that they do want to wear a ring in it. They get talked out of the ring to put a Labret stud in because it's going to be easier to heal and blah, 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 and all this other things, which is the current modern thinking. And there is some good in that, and there's some, whatever in there too. The problem is then once that piercing is healed, because it is so far into the lip, you have to find a ring that's going to fit from the inside where it is all the way around to the front, which means you have to wear a much longer ring or wider ring that's going to be a lot tighter to the area, which may cause issues in a healed piercing. If you decide you want to wear one or the other, it's usually best to stick with that particular style and be pierced with that particular style. So that's why Labret piercings, as in those that are done straight through with that lovely post with the disc on the back, are harder to heal, in my opinion, and more prone to problems and issues than lip piercings. Lip piercings, which I would list as at 18, are more outside the mouth. They don't interrupt teeth as much. They don't interrupt eating as much. They don't bang into things. They're just outside the mouth. Unless you specifically draw the lip in and chew on it, you're probably never going to have any contact with your teeth. So always keep that in mind. If you think in the long run you're going to mostly wear rings, it needs to be pierced more outside the body, less inside the body. Just a hint from me to you. So that brings us up to the last one, tongue piercings. Now, many people who have gone through the healing of a tongue will go, it was not easy. It was a pain in the ass, etc., blah, 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 blah. However, usually they heal out in about 2 weeks, thus making it one of the easiest piercings to heal on this list. The other thing is that usually the worst parts of the tongue piercing experience in about 3 days, and that would be the swelling. Then the adaptation period that comes shortly after that of getting used to moving things around your mouth with your tongue with that barbell in there usually lasts a couple days after that. And completely kind of goes away once you downsize the shorter barbell. So really, when you kind of consider what is going on, it's a pain. It's not a very painful piercing to get done. You're not going to see as much swelling as you're going to see with like Venom piercings or off-center piercings. And it's pretty much back to business as usual within a week and a half. Now, it's time for, just because I know you're going to ask about them, I don't suggest them. The first one being gum piercings. Why anyone would want to put a piece of metal between their teeth into their gums and then try to wear it is beyond me. You are going to damage your teeth. Now, for it to be visible so everyone can see it and see how cool you are, you're going to put it in your front teeth. How's that going to look when you hit about 50 or 60 and all of the damage has subsided, as basically chipped and eaten away at your gum line, and there's a big slit and that tooth is falling out? Stylish. The next one is the one that I probably get asked about the most. Snake eye piercings. For those that are not in the know, snake eye piercings are piercings that are done horizontally through the tip of your tongue. Everybody pretends like it's a new-fangled thing. No, it isn't. That stuff's been being tried and attempted since I started piercing back in the 90s. Every few years, somebody does one, a bunch of photos show up all over the place, and then suddenly the phone starts ringing with people asking for this piercing. It is a dumb idea. A number of reasons why, and I will get into a few of them just in case you still aren't convinced. The first one being is that you have two balls in direct contact with your canine in your front teeth. It will do damage. It will also do damage to your gums. There is no size of ball, no style of ball, no ball material that's going to stop that from happening. The other thing is the swelling, usually you want to have it as short as possible to eliminate the amount of damage, but the swelling usually exceeds the length of the barbell and causes issues, including them impacting where the body starts to grow tissue around the ball, kind of swallowing it up inside your tongue. Frightening, and can only be corrected by scalpeling them back open again. And let me tell you, swollen tissue and then being cut, it doesn't feel good. Then there's the issue with you expand and contract your tongue while you're talking. If you have something in there constricting the ability to do that, you're going to talk funny. And you're going to talk funny until that piece of jewelry leaves your body. So listen, kids. Don't do snake eye piercings. I don't care if you do find somebody that's willing to do it and they claim up and down they've done millions of them, even if they show one in themselves. If they're talking funny, they probably have a snake eye piercing and they probably had issues with it. Don't get it done. Don't waste your money. Spend it on something a little bit more interesting and something that is going to do better in the long run, turn out better than a nasty scar in the front of your tongue. I tell you these things because I care. The last one is the Ashley piercing. I have raved and ranted about this before. For those that have watched my channel in the past, Ashley piercings are Labret piercings that are done this way. Even though some people call Jestrums or inverted vertical Labret piercings Ashleys, they aren't. The Ashley that most people are talking about is done with a Labret stud done directly through the lip. All I have to say about this one is think about where that disc is and what goes on in that part of your body. It's going to be constantly chipping and wearing and chipping and wearing and chipping and wearing at your front teeth. It is not a good idea. It is a bad idea. The other thing is the tissue is a lot softer, so you're going to see migration. It's going to move one way or the other way, and it's going to go out or in or up or down. They tend to just be a problem from beginning to end. That's all of them. So I hope I didn't forget any because I went through 22 of them. I think that's all of them. If I missed any, I'm sure someone will let me know. Still mad about forgetting about the trachea on the first one of these I did. Anyway, thank you for watching, everyone. If you found the video informative, entertaining, and generally worth it, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you like it. I like it when you like it. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time we post something on here. We usually post between 4 to 5 videos focused on education, on body piercing, and tattooing. Check out our new website, bptchannel.com. If you've ever been looking for one of our older videos and suffered with the frustration of panning through 400 videos on YouTube, you understand that it's not the best organization. So we set up a website where everything's by topic, a lot easier to find older videos and find videos that meet what you're looking for. So check out the new page. If you like merch, you like t-shirts, you like bags, you like tote bags, you like leggings, you like bath towels, throw pillows, and you like body art, check out our merch store. Lots of various different designs, about 12 or so of them, in a lot of different products for you to choose from, including the color that matches your mood or ego. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I hope to see you for your body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Go out there, try to do something. I've been out biking last 2 days. My new electric bike, my Juice Scorpion, tearing up the highway like a lone wolf. So go out, do something. Just do it safely. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance. And we will see you next time.